I have 3 kids, and I gotta tell you, parenthood is an amazing journey, wrought with highs and lows I could never fathom as a single person. That being said, 3 kids is enough, so a few months ago, I got a vasectomy. Now before I get into some gory details, I'm going to put you through a little test. If you are squeamish and easily offended by simple clinical terms, you should not watch anymore. Now if you don't know if you're squeamish and easily offended by clinical terms, here comes a simple test in 3, 2, 1. Scrotum. Testicles. Balls. If you are still here and haven't closed the browser window, then it's safe for you to watch the rest of the video. Thank you. Now first we start with the pre-operation exam that they put me through. I get into the office and the nurse starts taking my vitals. Now, as she was checking my blood pressure, I asked her specifically what was going to be happening on this visit, as they had told me this was just a consultation. Then she replied in the most clinical fashion, "The doctor's going to do a scrotal exam." Whoa, your blood pressure just went up for some reason. They informed me of a few things. 1, that I was going to get a few drugs that I should take about half an hour before the procedure, and 2, that I need to shave. I need to shave what, my goatee? No, not your goatee. Otherwise, sir, we'll have to shave you, and I don't think you'll enjoy that. She walked out of this room, and I was considering a bomb threat so I wouldn't have to get my special place violated by some crazy doctor. But before I could complete the thought, the door opened, and this young doctor comes on in. "Okay, buddy, spread 'em. Let's see your boys. Go ahead and drop trout." No joke, that's what he said. I mean, this guy was a real go-getter, let me tell you. Then he examined me. This was not like any exam I had ever taken before. It's best if I just show you what my basic memory of the exam was. So yeah, he does that and they schedule my vasectomy and I leave the office. Fast forward some days later, and here it is. I come into the office and walk into the room where the surgery is to be performed in this medieval-looking bed with stirrups. That's right, the bed had stirrups. I disrobe from the waist down and into Argento's bed of blasphemy I go. Now, I had assumed I would be terrified at this point, but honestly, I was brave as all get out. I was sort of enjoying the experience, honestly, mainly due to the fact that I had 2 awesome drugs coursing through my veins. So much so that whilst I was in the stirrups, I composed an awesome song to commemorate the occasion.
In my privates, my adequately sized privates, my tubes are getting cut today. In my scrotum, my adequately sized scrotum, the bleeding stops today. Wee and no more kids my way. Steroid me today.
Now, whilst I sang this rollicking ditty, I did a dance while moving my legs from left to right in the stirrups. Classy. The next thing I remember, the doctor, his assistant, and some student came in to cut me up. So the first thing the doctor does is press this little button on the chair that actually raised it so that my special place could be raised to the doctor's eye level. I was doped up at the time, but I tell you, that still felt really strange to me that somehow there was a chair whose sole purpose was to put my crotch into another man's face. Anyhow, the doctor proceeds to cut me up, and throughout the entire procedure he made all these really bad Rodney Dangerfield-style jokes. Like, he's cutting me up and he says, "Aw, nuts! I'll bet you're having a ball." And oh, my personal favorite is when he was using the cauterizing tool, and smoke was rising from my crotch, and he was uttering the words, "Great balls of fire." Now, every time he would do a bad joke like this, his assistant, who was on my left, would laugh at every corny joke, whilst the student he had brought along with him had her face hovering over my right thigh, staring straight down at my special place. I mean, she was staring down there so much I actually felt like saying, "Hey lady, my eyes are up here." Anyway, he stitched me up and my wife drives me home. Now, this is where the failure part came in. The doctor told me that even though I was feeling awesome at that exact moment, I needed to be laying down in a bed for the next few days or so. Unfortunately, I had to produce 2 NBA D-League basketball games starting the very next day. Now, I tell you, I was so doped up during the first game that I missed cues, I forgot reads. If I didn't have a good crew on, I would have really been in some serious trouble. So the second game, I decided to forego the pain medication so that mentally I could be sharp. I got through the first quarter no problem. Then in the second quarter, I noticed some throbbing started. By quarter 3, I'm fairly certain that was where the swelling was setting in, and by quarter 4, I was ready to go home and did not give a crap about what was happening on this basketball game happening in front of me. By the time the game was over, I was relieved until I stood up and things shifted. Now, for all you men out there who are considering getting a vasectomy, let me tell you that once you heal, life is good. But for that 5-day period post-surgery, it kind of feels like...